Hello, everybody, and welcome back to False Nine Footy. So Sunday is the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. It's been, honestly, I've enjoyed this tournament. It's been pretty fun. We've had we've had interesting matchups. We've had Inter Miami facing PSG. Like, when else are you gonna see that? So it's honestly this tournament. I've actually kind of enjoyed it. Um, Even though the players don't really get that much of a break. I mean, PSG have been playing all year round. Um, Real Madrid, all these teams they didn't really get any break as of yet. So, but you know what? The tournament's been fun. So yeah, Sunday Chelsea and PSG are facing off, and I mean PSG. So if we're just talking about who I think is gonna win this match, I mean PSG. Like I'd be very surprised if PSG didn't win this match. I don't think it'll be as comfortable as Real Madrid just because I mean, back to back, you know, blowing out your opponent back to back. I mean, that's tough. I don't know if that's gonna be something that's gonna happen. If PSG is gonna steamroll Chelsea the same way they did Real Madrid and Inter Miami and all these other teams. But I mean, PSG are clearly the best team in the world right now. I mean, you could talk about that squad like adding Kavica Kvaratskhelia was just. I mean, it's unfair. It's unfair. Like, how can you have all these amazing attackers on one team like Barcola, Desiree Doué, Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, and then you also have Mayulu off the bench, like Barcola off the bench, and then you also have Gonzalo Ramos off the bench, and then you go to the midfield. You got Vitinha, you got Fabian Ruiz, you got João Neves, and then your fullbacks are also amazing at going forward. Hakimi and Nuno Mensch. It's amazing to watch them play because they play with a lot of freedom, and they're creative, and they go at you, and they're not afraid to like take chances. Like they don't play in a way where they just have possession and they don't do anything with it. They actually try and create chances. And it's so much fun to watch as a football fan. So this match on Sunday, what do I think will happen? I really do think PSG will win again. Whether it is comfortably, in a comfortable fashion or not, I don't know. If I had to go with the scoreline, I would go maybe 3-1 PSG, something like that. Um, Now, if we look at Chelsea now, Chelsea have had a pretty good tournament. They've had to go through Fluminense and face Thiago Silva over there, but they've had a pretty decent tournament. They've got Delap and Joao Pedro. They've got them integrated into the squad. I just don't think their team, it's is good enough to match PSG. Like, they have Cole Palmer, they have Pedro Neto, who's played well. You have Nkunku, who's actually played pretty well. The striker position is interesting. Joao Pedro, he scored 2 goals last game, played well. Um, I don't know if they're gonna play Delap and Joao Pedro in the final. We'll see. Um, but their midfield's gonna be like Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and and I don't know who else. Maybe Cole Palmer is like an attacking mid, but I just don't think they have enough to really match PSG. And also, they don't play that kind of creative. Like, they don't play the way PSG play, if you know what I mean. Like, if you watch PSG, and also we're talking about the fullbacks. Like, when you're talking about PSG, it's not just the front three you have to worry about. It's not like a Fabian, because Vitinha controls the match. He controls the tempo. You have to also worry about Fabian Ruiz, as a goal scorer, as a goal scoring threat. Same as João Neves. Vitinha kind of controls it. Obviously, you have to worry about the front three as a goal threat, but you also have to worry about Nuno Mensch and Hakimi, because they're all amazing going forward too. So you just get overwhelmed with the amount of like attacking threats that they have. PSG, that it's like it's hard. It's hard to defend them because everyone on that team is good with the ball. Everyone is comfortable in possession. Everyone is comfortable with. Everyone is. I mean, most of the attackers there are fast. You know, the fullbacks and the front three. Obviously, the midfield they don't need to be fast, but just so many attacking threats. And then, you know, you look at Chelsea. Their fullbacks are all right. Right, Cucurella, he's all right. And then I think Reece James. Reece James is probably going to start at right back again. You know, Reece James, you know, in and out with injury for so much of his career. So we'll see how he does in the final. And then their center backs, I think they're going to go with Colwell and Tosin, maybe. We'll see what they do with the center backs. And then Sanchez in net. So I just don't think they match up. Like their team is just not as good as PSG, in my opinion. So PSG for me will take it. You know, I didn't even mention Donnarumma. I didn't mention Marquinhos, you know. So, yeah, they just got an amazing squad, PSG. So yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday. I'm saying PSG are winning. We'll see what happens, though. Chelsea could surprise people, you know. Prove me wrong. We'll see. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys think will happen on Sunday. Because yeah, you know, this tournament's been fun, and you know, we'll finally see what happens at the end. So yeah.